Good early evening, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. And we've got some more training camp updates from the first training camp session with full pads. So, players are actually hitting each other, players are actually in full NFL uniform. So, we're starting to get an even better idea of what things might look like when the regular season starts. So, first of all, before I talk about what happened on the field today, I want to talk about what didn't happen on the field, specifically concerning a couple of injuries, because I know everybody's currently on pins and needles waiting for news about um, K9 and Charbonnet. Nothing new there. They didn't practice today, which was obviously expected. So there's no update yet about K9 and Charbonnet. Listening to what Carroll had to say specifically about it, though, my sense is that K9 is expected to be back well before the start of the season, and Charbonnet they're not sure on. So that's the best that I got right now. And that's just me trying to listen to what Carol's saying and translate it into something concrete, which may or may not have any meaningful impact. But those guys still don't really know what's going on. We also don't know what's going on with Will Dissly quite yet. Dissly was not participating in practice today. He was present on the VMAC field, but he was not practicing. So don't know what's going on there yet. Obviously, Will Dissly is a relatively important part of this offense. One thing worth noting is some of the players that we worked out today, Sal Cannella, Chris Pierce, and Caleb Warren, are tight ends. So that has to at least make you wonder, is there something going on there? Dissly's certainly a player that's had injury problems his whole career. He ended the season last year on the injured reserve. So it's worth keeping in mind until we hear something a little more concrete, at least. So we were working out a few tight ends. We also worked out Robert Cooper. And you guys might remember, Robert Cooper was here earlier in the offseason. He was cut pretty quickly, but a lot of people, including myself, were very interested in this guy because he was a legitimate nose tackle at Florida State. So maybe we're thinking about bringing him back. Maybe we're thinking about making him part of this defensive line rotation. Maybe we're thinking about using him to take a little bit of the pressure off of Jaron Reed having to line up at nose tackle all the time. We'll see, but I liked him when we had him a couple months ago. We also worked out Chase Garbers, who was a quarterback from California a couple years ago. We do need a third quarterback. Quarterback. I don't think Holton Allers is the guy. I don't know if Chase Garbers is the guy either, but there's little doubt in my mind that we're going to have a practice squad quarterback, and Holton Allers is just not really good enough. So that's it for some of the roster stuff. So let's swing into some of the fun stuff that happened on the football field today. Probably the most interesting thing that happened today was the one-on-ones, and Michael Sean Dugar posted a bunch of the clips to Twitter. So if you haven't seen it already, go to Twitter, go to Mike Dugar's Twitter, pull up this thread. You can watch through it. There are like 8 to 10 clips. It's cool. It's fun. Each clip is only like 8 seconds long at most. I'm not going to play the clips on video, but to quickly sum up what I saw, um, JSN is undefeated. JSN was awesome. JSN was great. And he was also great in the actual game. Well, not game, but, 7-on-7 drills. Lockett looked good, of course. Lockett's always going to look good at stuff like that. So receivers looking good. Cade Johnson made one catch on, I believe it was Kobe Bryant. No, wait, it was Cody Thompson who made a catch on Kobe Bryant. So good stuff there. Receivers looking good. Probably, as of right now, the most exciting part of this team, except for maybe the cornerbacks or defensive backs in general, which makes these one-on-ones really fun because you get to see your strength against your strength. Defensive back wise, Trey Brown had 2 really good plays. He got beat a couple times. JSN had one play where he made him look silly, but Trey Brown looks good, like really good. Kobe Bryant got beat up. Witherspoon got beat a couple times, but he did have one really good play that resulted in no completion. And that was really about it. Obviously, Woolen's not out there. Mike Jackson looked fine, but I think I only saw him once or twice. So that's basically a rundown of how I perceived these clips. JSN's undefeated. That's the kind of the highlight here. He continues to kill it every single time he touches the football field. So great news there. Some other little highlights here. Evan Brown back to working with the starters. Oluwatimi with the number 2 offensive line, so that rotation is in full effect. Evan Brown takes one day, Oluwatimi takes the next day. Looks like we're giving both guys an opportunity to be a starter. I still think Evan Brown is a favorite, but you can't count out Oluwatimi completely. As for the 7-on-7 portion of the training camp session, Bryant is still the starting nickel, and Witherspoon is kind of working his way in. He is doing some dime cornerback work, and he's also doing some nickel work with the backups. So Witherspoon's slowly being eased in here, and again, it would not surprise me at all if Witherspoon spent a lot of his time in 2023 in the slot, because you're going to be in the you're going to be in nickel defense most of the time, especially in this division. So I don't dread that. The only thing I care about is that he's on the field. But expect him to get a lot of nickel reps, because that's where we may end up needing him, especially in this division. Witherspoon did get beat up a little bit, apparently, in the 7-on-7 drills. He got beat by Mabry. He got beat by Metcalf. One thing that was called out specifically in concern to Witherspoon was he had good run defense, which is going to be important, especially if he's playing inside in nickel and dime situations. So Witherspoon, one of the best traits that he brought to the table in college was tackling, and one of the best traits that he's bringing to the NFL is his tackling and run defense just kind of in general. So this stuff is crucial. This stuff is key. I mean, a lot of people have pointed out that the pass defense was not necessarily the problem last year. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but the run defense was the bigger problem, and a guy like Witherspoon is going to do quite a bit to help the problem. We didn't get great run support out of our cornerbacks last year, and Witherspoon has a chance to change that pretty much overnight, because that's one of his strengths as a player. Some other notes from the defense. I think this is probably the most interesting thing that came out of training camp today. Dre'Mont Jones had a good day against the run. He made multiple plays in the backfield. I saw multiple tweets about it. Had a tackle for loss on, I think, DJ Dallas. Had a tackle on a screen for a 5-yard loss. Dre'Mont Jones, the reason why, and again, I want to stress this real quick here. This is training camp. This doesn't necessarily mean the whole wide world is changing because of something I saw in training camp. But Dre'Mont Jones, the reason why some people like PFF don't consider Dre'Mont Jones an elite player is because they don't think he's good against the run. And one of the issues with Seattle signing him and making him the key part of the revamped defensive line is he is supposedly not good against the run. But if he comes here and can be good against the run, which I believe is very possible, things are situational, things are contextual in the NFL, that's a big deal. I think he's going to be really good, and I think we're going to be really happy about having him. But if Dre'Mont Jones can be good against the run on top of what he brings as a pass rusher, that's huge. So great news there. Boye Mafe looked good too. He's another guy who I'm counting on to have a big 2023. So far so good, I guess you could say. He got credited for a sack. He had some good reps. So positive news there. Final thing of highlight note. Uchenna Nwosu has the hit of the day on Kenny McIntosh per Brady Henderson. Excited the whole defense, got everybody pumped up. So, hey, he got paid, but he's still out there grinding. So, no issues there. Great news there. And that's really about it in terms of the main stuff that I think is worth really discussing. So, that is the first full day of pad work in training camp. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm getting out of here. Go Hawks.